Hi guys, and welcome back. It's Joe with the Daily Logistics, where we discuss how you can grow and improve your rental company using digital solutions. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to convert an estimate to an invoice. When you have a rental estimate in QuickBooks, how do you then take that estimate and turn it into an invoice? It's actually quite simple. I'll walk you through the process, and I'll give you some tips and tricks along the way to help ensure that your customer is well informed as to all of the things that they should expect from your company when you deliver or take care of these rental items. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to log into the QuickBooks dashboard here, and we're going to go over to the Invoicing tab and select All Sales. Okay. Then from here, we are going to filter by estimates. I've already done that here, so it'll show me my estimates below. I'm going to select the estimate that we want to convert to an invoice. Just click it and it'll pull it up. Okay, from here, you'll see the original estimate that you sent to them. And let's just imagine that they want to go ahead and everything on the invoice is as they want it. So we want to convert this to an invoice. Now, I want to stop right here and just explain a few things, because imagine, for example, you might be on a phone call with this customer, okay? And they have expressed their desire to go ahead and book these rentals with your company. Now, the second that your customer says, yes, I'm ready to go ahead and book this order, I want to reserve with your company, we're ready to go, I want you to also train your sales staff to, right when they hear that, click this Create Invoice button, okay? And the reason I say that is because I've experienced it a lot of times in my rental company, and I've seen it in the past, where if you don't do that, you can end up going through this entire phone call. The customer says they're ready to order, and you agree, and you go through all of the items that are on that estimate. If you forget to create an invoice right then, a lot of times you'll get off that phone call and immediately get another phone call right away, or you get an email that you need to respond to. And somehow or another, this estimate gets forgotten and it gets left as an estimate, and it doesn't get converted to an invoice. And then by the end of the day, you've completely forgotten about that particular order, and you won't even know that that order is coming up in your pipeline until the day of the event, when the customer is calling you, asking you where their rental items are, and you had no idea that that order was even coming up because you forgot to create an invoice for it. Okay, so definitely want to recommend that highly, that whenever you hear the customer say, hey, I want to confirm this, click that Create Invoice button. That way you know you're going to get on this invoice page, and you can start working off of the new invoice here. So at this point, we are going to essentially just go through the invoice and ensure that the customer has everything that they need on this invoice. You want to reconfirm all of the quantities, the items, the details of the delivery, the address, contact information, all of that with them before you go ahead and close this out. Okay, so that discussion might sound something like this. All right, Eden Hazard, it looks like we're going to reserve this rental order for you. Let me just briefly go through and make sure that we have everything here that you're needing. We have the 4 60-inch round tables, the 24 white plastic Samsonite chairs. We have the 4 120-inch round black linens to go along with those 60-inch round tables. And we're going to be delivering these items to you at 848 East Calle del Norte, Chandler, Arizona, 85225. The person that we're going to be calling when we deliver these items is, the phone number we have for them is 480-296-8732. And we'll be delivering those items on Saturday, February 8th between 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. Now, Eden, once you receive these items, you can go ahead and use them for your event. We're going to drop them off in a location outdoors, maybe on the side of your house or wherever you'd like our guys to set them. We just ask that when you're finished with those rental items, that you stack up the chairs where we left them and put the tables, fold the legs in, put them up against the chairs, and then bundle up those linens inside of each other and put them out there, so that when we return on Monday the 10th, our guys can just swing back there anytime. We have you scheduled for an anytime pickup, so don't worry about working around our time schedule. If you need to do something that day, you need to leave the house, just go ahead and leave the gate open for us, or ensure that there's some way for us to access those items, and that way we won't have to bother you. We'll just pick those items up and you'll be all taken care of. And then ask at that point you would ask him if he has any questions or if we missed anything. As long as everything is good to go, you should be all set. The last thing you just want to double check and make sure is that you have the ship and return date entered here correctly, okay? And most importantly, this invoice date. Make sure that that invoice date is the date of the event. When you first create it, it's going to default to the date, to today's date, okay? So you want to make sure that you change that invoice date to the date of the event, which in this case should be the ship date because you've already put the ship date on the estimate. Okay, so you just match the ship date with the invoice date. Once that's done, you're all set. You can hit save and send here, send this invoice off in an email. If you're going to take a payment on this invoice, you can after you've saved it. You can receive an invoice or receive a payment against the invoice. Now, if you have credit card processing set up with QuickBooks, you can just send the estimate or send the invoice to the customer and they can pay for it right there from the email. If you use a third-party merchant processor, obviously you need to log into that merchant processor, run the payment, and then once the payment has gone through, you're going to go ahead and hit receive payment and receive it against that invoice, enter the amount that you're receiving, and hit save and close. And it'll apply it to that invoice. So that's it, guys. That's all we have for today. Pretty quick and easy. Just convert that estimate right over to an invoice, and you're all set to go. And now the next time you need to view what's coming up for your orders, that order is going to show up on the date that you selected for the delivery date, and you should be all set to go. You'll have no issues remembering that you have that order coming up, and you definitely won't forget it. Just make sure you click that Convert to Invoice button immediately when the customer says that they're ready to reserve. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below the video. Hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already to receive updates for all of our upcoming videos. And for now, that's all we have. Happy rentals.